Today we're going to be going over the best possible way to run the Eagles theme team. Now, when I say the best possible way, I mean if you wanted to be as strict as possible, this is ideally how I would run the Eagles theme team, like just, all Eagles, no cheats, nothing like that. This is something I handmade this team right here. I made over on MuttGG. You guys can do the same, mess around with lineups and stuff like that, but this is how I would run a strict Eagles theme team. That is usually how I try to run it. Now, the only difference I would say with this team that I'm about to show y'all that I would actually like change onto like my team, the only thing is probably this entire offensive line I wouldn't use. I mean, I would use Kelsey and probably Lane Johnson, but the guards, the other tackle and the left guard, probably would not use. And the reason why is because secure protectors, you need them shits on every single person on the field. But besides that, though, this is a very accurate representation of how I would run these strict Eagles things. So we are going to start off with the offensive line, though. Left tackle Jordan Mailata would have to be your go-to option. Sadly, he gets no discounts, and the card isn't very good, but that's the best option you would have to use at left tackle. Sadly, left guard would have to be Isaac Samalo. You see why I said I probably wouldn't use almost half these linemen, but yeah, Samalo would have to be the go-to left guard. There's really no other options. Jason Kelsey at center. He's arguably the best center in the game, period. I mean, his discounts are just, they're unmatched. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. I mean, his discounts are insane. Right guard, I would actually probably go with John Runyon. The other options, I think it's like Cam Jurgens. I think it's Andre Dillard. And mind you, none of these guys are even right guards because the Eagles team doesn't actually have a right guard. And even it's saying John Runyon and all those other guys I just named aren't really much of a choice either. But if you want to keep it as strict as you can, I'd probably throw Runyon in there just because he's very bigger. He's got a really big frame. He's just a big guy. And then for right tackle, you'd go with Lane Johnson, which it is very disappointing. He does not get secure for 0, but he gets it for 1. So you could probably make some room, AP wise, and probably definitely get him in there for the 1 AP. So offensive line, I would realistically cheat for your right guard, cheat for your left guard, and cheat for the left tackle. But I'd probably say every other position for the Eagles theme team, you could legit run an Eagle there. Now on to the tight ends. Bavaro is easily the Eagles theme team's best tight end. The card is really good. He gets very good discounts. I'm not sure what his animations look like, but I've heard really good things about the card, and he's a big body, he's fast. Tight end 2, I'd go with Jordan Reed because I don't see why not. It's a free tight end. I feel like he's probably the best team captain option out of probably all of them, honestly. I mean, it's a tight end. You can never go wrong with a free tight end, and he's really good. For tight end 3, I'd go with Dallas Goedert. If you run an ace offset, Bavaro and Jordan Reed is definitely who you're going to want to run. Dallas Goedert's a cool tight end 3, though. He's not really anything spectacular. He's cool. He's also a little overpriced, in my opinion, because for what his stats are. Pretty wide receivers. The Eagles team's got a lot of wide receivers. It's a theme we've noticed a lot this year is, we got blessed to the wide receiver position, thankfully. How I would run these starting 3 wide receivers, I would go Brian Finneran and Carl Michael as your outside receivers. And then personally, I would go Chris Carter in the slot. Now, if you run like an empty set or some type of set where you actually use 4 wide receivers for your wide receiver 4, I would actually go with Matt Collins. Big body. He meets all the thresholds for pretty much everything. He's actually a very good card, and he's cheap. And I would say A.J. Brown's probably, in my opinion, the 5th best receiver on the team. I don't have Julio on here because Julio, he's got that bug where he'll just stop on routes and stuff. So definitely cannot have that out there. And personally, I like Carl Michael actually a wide receiver 2 because, at least for me personally, some of the RPOs I run and stuff, a lot of times he's the guy that's catching them, and he has probably like the best juke in the game. So I definitely want him as the receiver on the RPO, not the one blocking. Now, this doesn't mean just because you put him at wide receiver 2 that he's going to be your guy catching the ball for all your RPOs. I don't know what you guys run. I'm just telling you on how I run the things that I run. He's the guy catching the RPOs for me. So, and Chris Carter, I feel like would be a really good slot corner, 6'3". Hell, if you want to throw him on the outside, you can too. He's really good. The Eagles team's got a lot of good receivers, big receivers at that. For the running backs, I personally like DeMarco Murray as the best running back for the Eagles team, and I'm speaking on this AP wise. He's got the best AP out of all the running backs that we have, and he's also the biggest running back out of all the running backs we have. So I like him the best. I got Saquon at number 2. I really do not like his AP. And some of you guys said he runs really good. Haven't used him, so I can only speak on what I see from the AP and the physical traits. That's all I can speak on. And for running back 3, I like Darren McFadden. It's a free card, which I don't think you can actually even get him anymore, which is pretty messed up. But if you were able to get him, definitely, keep him out there as Cool running back 3. He actually like his AP better than Saquon's also. For the QB position, there's no other option. It's Michael Vick. You got the only options other than him is Cunningham, which you're not. Come on, that's too much AP. And then there's Mariota, which I don't even think he gets discounts. So Michael Vick is the only option. And for the Franco Harris, I think people have actually asked me about this before. I don't know if this is even still in the game, but like in the beginning of the year, there was a training pack in the stores for like 3,000, 4,000 training or something like that. And it gave you a punter, a fullback, and I think like a kicker. And they got all team chems you could put in your team, and that's what Franco Harris was. So besides that, if that's not in the game anymore, and if you were not able to get this, then I don't think you can get a fullback with Eagles chem from my knowledge. We're on to the defense. So I'm going to be speaking on the defense from 2 defensive point of views. If your guy that runs like a nickel normal, or like a dollar or something like that. And then I'm going to speak on it from a point of view if you run like a 3-4. Really, the only difference between the nickel and the 3-4 or the dollar is the dollar, you get the extra slot corner. You lose the D lineman. In the nickel normal, I guess you would lose a slot corner compared to dollar, but you would add a D lineman. And with the 3-4, you lose a slot corner and you add a D lineman. I mean, I think most people kind of understand that. I'm breaking it down between those 3 defenses because a 3-4 is pretty similar to how you'd run a 6-1. You know, dollar is universal. Like, it's just universal breakdowns. So basically, if you run 3 down linemen, 4 down linemen, or 5 to 6 down linemen. So start with your safeties up top. Your free safety and your strong safety. Personally, for free safety, you got to go with Kevin Byard. Gets universal coverage all game. I mean, I've been saying this since he came out. Strong safety, I got to go with Asamoah. Universal coverage all game. It doesn't get any better than that. Now, if they have a Tony Gonzalez and he's zapping your X factors away and they're not turning on, then I would switch Dawkins where Asamoah's at, and you put Asamoah where Dawkins is at. That's pretty much that. Besides that, you let those guys rock. So that was the safety. So for the corners, I actually like Brian Dawkins and Darius Slay on the outside. And then in the slot, I like Quinyon Mitchell. Now, if you run dollar and you need that extra slot corner, then I would go with DRC, Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, as your extra 4th corner. And, Dawkins and Slay, they all get really good AP. That's why I like them on the outside. Especially Dawkins. Dawkins gets pretty much everything for 0. And if we were talking about for 3-4, then you would just run Dawkins and Slay as basically your outside corners. Those would be your only guys. Now for your backers, your guys in the box. Me personally, let's say if you run like a nickel normal, or let's say you run like a dollar, you got to have 2 backers in the box. I'm going with TJ Edwards and Carmichael. I know there's other options. There's John Madden. You got Devin White. Devin White's faster than TJ. John Madden's, not as big as Carmichael, but he's bigger than not bigger, not at all. He's fatter than Carmichael, and he's, I think for John Madden 6'4", 6'5", something like that. He's got the speed. I like TJ Edwards over Devin White because, first of all, it's only 1 speed difference. Devin White is 98 speed. TJ Edwards is 97 speed. Their height, I think, is also identical. So they're same height. There's only 1 speed difference. The thing that wins it over for me for TJ is the man gets better abilities. I just like his abilities more. Tackle Supreme and Lurk Artist for a total of 1. I like that better than what Devin White gets. John Madden and Carmichael. Madden obviously gets better AP than Carmichael. They both get 0 AP Lurk Artist. Neither of them get Tackle Supreme or Secure Tackler discounted. So that's a big one for me because I'll be honest, I don't really care about having mid-zone on my user and stuff like that. So Madden's also got, I think Carmichael's got 95 speed. I think Madden's got, 98 or, of course it doesn't show me him upgraded. Nice, thanks. Okay. 98 speed. So Madden gets 98 speed. So he's 3 more speeds faster than Carmichael, that's a pretty big deal right there. But Carmichael's got something John Madden does not, and that's 6'8". End of story. I don't got nothing else to say. Now, if you're running like a 3-4 bear or maybe like a 6-1 to where you can only have 1 backer in the box and you got to choose, it's a tough one because with TJ Edwards you get that tackle supreme, which is a very big thing, and then Carmichael 6'8", you're playing every single route. That's a tough one. If you're only able to use 1 guy in the box, man, and I had to go with just 1 guy, I'm going Carmichael, man. Now for the defensive line. So I'll be breaking down the defensive line from a 4 down D lineman, 3 down D lineman, and your 5 down D lineman. That's all I'll break it down. I'm gonna start off with your 4 down D lineman, so your nickel normals and your stuff like that. For your edge rushers, I'm personally gonna go with Brian Burns and Javon Curse. They both should be pretty cheap at this point. Those will be your edge rushers. For your interior linemen, your D tackles, gotta go with Refrigerator Perry and Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter getting inside stuff for 1 AP, which he's actually the only person on the Eagles team that has gotten that all year, which is crazy. Especially because the Eagles team always, we always get guys to get it discounted, but not this year. And it's not like we didn't get D tackles. We did. They just didn't get discounted. And then I go refrigerator pair because he gets momentum shift, which is arguably one of the best abilities on defense in the game. It's not an ability. It's an X factor, but and I remember when he first came out, I was like, really? He gets this over inside stuff? But I didn't realize how overpowered momentum shift actually is. It's very important, but I still think he should have got inside stuff discounted with it. I think it's stupid, but that's how I would run the 4-down D lineman. I would say you run the 3-down D lineman. I would probably see this one's interesting because if you're running just a 3-down D lineman, you know that you're not really probably going to get a crazy amount of pressure with it. So I would actually run Jalen Carter, Refrigerator Perry, and Brian Burns. So how I would run it, I would run Brian Burns as your edge rusher that's lining up over top the right tackle. I would have Jalen Carter playing right over top the center with that inside stuff. And then I would actually probably rock Fridge over top the left tackle because you got momentum shift. You got to have that out there. And I say that because obviously Fridge isn't going to be, probably great out there with that speed off the edge. But the thing is, like I said, if you're using 3-down D lineman, you're mostly focusing on all your backers in the box probably and stuff like that. So, well, I guess also if you're in like dollar, you got 3-down D lineman. So you're really worried about your guys blitzing off the edge and stuff like that. So, you know what I mean? You don't really care. You got to have your momentum shift out there. Now, if you run a 3-4 style defense with 5-down D lineman, I would honestly use DeMarco Murray. I would have DeMarco Murray off the edge against your right tackle because this guy's going to be 98 speed. And a lot of times, that guy that's lined up over top the right tackle, if you're running that 3-4 under, at least how I showed you how to, a couple months back or whenever I dropped the video breaking that down, he's going to be coming in a whole lot. So I would have him lined up over top that right tackle. He's going to be flying in free. Now, for your other edge rusher lining up over top the left tackle, that's where I would go with Mr. Brian Burns, beast of a man right there. And if you're 3 interior linemen, I would have Jalen Carter lying right over top the center. He needs it with the inside stuff. And then I don't know, between Fridge and Curse, I would probably put Fridge over top the left guard, and then I'd probably put Javon Curse over top the right guard. And if you're running 6-1, I think you need one more D lineman, right? So for that one, honestly, you could probably put like TJ Edwards like as one of your guys you might want to drop in coverage or something like that for like a 6-1 or however you run that. I don't know. I can't speak on 6-1 a whole lot because I don't really run that, but we're going to talk about special teams. We're going to talk about all phases. We might as well, right? Punter, you should have Pat McAfee out there. If you never got him, then I think you got to use like 89 overall SIPOS, so that sucks. But yeah, McAfee gets all chems, which yeah, I don't think I think if you didn't play during when he came out, you don't get him. I don't know how that works. Kickers obviously Jake Elliott. A long snapper, I feel like a lot of people don't. This isn't something that's probably talked about a whole lot because nobody actually, really punts. But I think your long snapper should always be your fastest tight end because let's say you're punting, the long snapper is the center. Imagine you make it your really fast tight end. He could just run downfield and go, make a tackle. So I know it's not that serious, but it is something to keep in mind. For the kick return, I like Carmichael as your best return man. He's got one of the best jukes in the game. And then the rest of the guys, you could put whoever back there. I'd put probably like Chris Carter and McFadden, but Carmichael definitely needs to be the return man. The specialist should look a little something like this. Murray's going to be your main back. At least that's who it would be for me. Chris Carter, I'd probably use as my slot receiver. For the sub backers, Carmichael and TJ Edwards, because those are the guys that I want in the box. And then you put Brian Burns as your rush left end, because that would line him up over top the right tackle. This is like, if you want like nickel normal or the stuff that we talked about. And then I'd put Javon Curse at rush right end. That would line him up over top the left tackle. It's basically like flip-flop. So if you got him rushing off the left, it looks like he's rushing off the right. You know what I mean? It's kind of like backwards. But and then Fridge and Jalen Carter, obviously, we're going to have them at D tackle. Quinyon Mitchell, we want in the slot. And if you want, dollar, then yeah, for corner 4, you're going to want to go with DRC. That's pretty much right now, in my opinion, the best way to run the strict Eagles theme team. Now, if you want to, the best way to run them, take out this guy, take out this guy, and take out that guy, and go get you some guys to get secure protector. I don't care who it is. Fill those out with secure protectors. Besides that, this is, in my opinion, the best way to probably run the Eagles theme team. This is how I would run them. I know a lot of people, some people say Saquon they like better than Murray. Haven't used them, so I can't really speak on it. But AP wise and physicals, I gotta go with Murray. He kills that. Let me know what you guys think about this. If there's anybody that you would switch out for some other players, Let me know down in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy this video, man, drop a like. Until the next time, man, I'll see y'all in the next one.